Hi folks, Kyle here. We are in the process of cleaning up a messy course, and thus far we have learned how to identify kind of when it's time to clean a course. We've been able to change the front page and delete some content that we no longer needed, found some conflicting pages. We've deleted the ones that are in conflict with one another. We've cleaned up our navigational buttons that are at the bottom of the homepage, made sure that they connect to the content that we expect and students expect, and also deleted some other extraneous content. And then we've recently cleaned up our discussions so that only the discussions are appearing in that kind of folder that are the ones that are a part of the course. So now we're going to get into modules and start cleaning up our modules. And this is really, of all of the tasks of cleaning up a course, one of the most challenging. Let's dive in and take a look at our modules. Now I've got a module here that I borrowed from the engineering class, one of the engineering courses for the purposes of this demonstration. Look, it's filled with a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm going to set that aside for a second. No, actually for longer than a second. I want you to imagine that this folder is full of content, maybe from a course, part of a course that you taught a long time ago, and it's no longer relevant. So, we need to get rid of it. And it's never going to be relevant in the context of this particular course. So just imagine that that's what that is. So one of the things then in deleting, well, at some point we're going to delete this, but right now we're going to set it aside. And I'm also going to just grab it and I'm going to move it to the bottom, very bottom. Oof, there's a lot of stuff here. All right. So at least it's kind of out of view. Boy, I've got a lot of things in here. Now we have a sample module here. That's from an old template. And I'm going to do something with that. I'm going to eliminate most of that as well at some point. And I'm going to move that to the bottom. And let's just set those aside for a second. Then look, I've got another instructor module. And those are copies of copies. I can see that because it's got the -2. I'm just going to collapse it, put this kind of stuff at the bottom. Oh gosh, and here's another instructor module. Okay, so obviously I need to do some cleaning. This module I want to be a part of my course. And this module I want to be a part of my course. And this content I want to be a part of the course. And I want this to be a part of the course, but I don't want 2 welcome modules. And I want this to be, this is a student resource. I want to put that somewhere else. So let's grab it first. I'm just going to grab it. So that's click and then drag. And I'm going to plop it down here in this welcome module. It makes sense there. Now for the most templates, there's actually a button on the home page that corresponds with this content. Now in this course, because this is a course for faculty, I don't have that button, but I do want to put it in there in my welcome folder, just in case you want to take a look at it. With your course for undergrad or grad students, I would strongly recommend that you leave the button as is, and you can move this link to anywhere you want to that makes sense in the module, but try to leave the button where it is, because it's potentially very valuable for students. So in this case, I've moved the link out of this Canvas orientation and additional support module and put it in this welcome module. So I can delete now this content folder. It's empty. Get it out of my way. So when a module is empty and we delete it, it deletes the module. If there were any content in the module and I deleted the module, it does not delete the content in the module. It just deletes kind of the folder itself, but we have to go find the deleted content in another part of the Canvas database in our course. But here, the student orientation and additional support module is empty, so I am going to delete it and just to get it out of the way. And now this welcome message at the top of this heading needs to be changed a little bit because it says the content in this module is the same as the content to which the buttons on the home page navigate. So I'm going to add to that sentence a little bit. I'm going to edit it and then update the module. Okay, that's cool. And then I've got this Career Services Canvas course. That's a link. And I'm just going to go ahead and take it out of this other welcome folder and put it into this welcome folder. I'm going to delete this guy. Okay. And now we've got to edit this because not only is there a student guide, but there's also a Career Services Canvas course. So let's just go back and let's edit our instructions again. That looks pretty good. All of these various pieces are published and then the module's published. So that's ready to go. That's great. So I'm going to collapse that down. That one's good to go. This module is fine. That's actually a part of my course that I brought over. I know that this is what I want to be in my course. So I'm going to collapse that. This one's what I want to be in my course. Cool. Now let's just go ahead and dive into this first module. Let's take a look at its guts, its contents. And it's just a link. And this is for an instructor module. So that's fine. And I might want this just to make sure that it's not published, but there's probably some other instructor-ish type things in here that I could put in this instructor module. Let's just see if that's the case. So I've got another instructor module down here. Let's open it and see if it's got anything in it. And then it's got some template information, and then it's also got a quiz in there. So I may or may not want to keep this, and I'll probably have to go into each one of these things to see if I do want to keep it. Let's assume that I don't. Let's assume that all of this is from an old template and it's no longer relevant for me, and I don't need help getting started or helpful tips or additional support, and I don't need this quiz. So what happens when I delete this module? All the content disappears, but I haven't actually deleted that content. So the next step in this is to remember that particular content. Most of that had a -2 designation to it. Those are going to be found in pages. Most of those were pages. And it's all this stuff. So it's this one, remember, Canvas for the instructor getting started, -2, helpful tips, -2. Let's see, this is all that engineering stuff. So I'm going to, again, leave it for the time being. Template finishing touches, -2. Customizations, there's another -2. Okay, so I can delete those. Just going to ask me, are you sure you want to do this? Okay, so I think I've deleted that material. Now, there was also a quiz in there. Remember, it was just called quiz. So I'm going to go into quizzes. I'm going to see if there's a piece of content in here called quiz. And I do not see it, which is okay. Not bad. Let's now see if we can find it in assignments. Okay. There it is. There it is. So if I want to delete it, which I do, I've actually found where it resides in Canvas, and I'm going to delete it. I do not want it. Okay. Let's go back to modules. See if we can tackle anything else. Now I've got this sample module stuff, right? Sample overview and to-do list. And so this looks like stuff that I might want to keep about this template, right? So that's pretty cool. I can keep that stuff. I'm just going to put it underneath my instructor module here. Come on. There we go. Right below it. Perfect. So now what I want to do is go through some of this content. Oh boy. And get it out of there. And I'm going to start with the bottom first. So this is a link. It's a part of the module. So if I delete it or remove it, it's going to get rid of it. This is a heading. Now if I delete the module, any kind of headers that I put in there are going to be deleted as well. So I'm going to get that out of there as well. These are pages. So Canvas for the instructor getting started, Canvas for the instructor helpful tips. I want those out of there. There's another link. So I'm going to delete that. These are, I find in pages. So I'm going to go, remember, Canvas for the instructor getting started and helpful tips. I want to get rid of those. Into pages, view all pages. All right, Canvas for the instructor getting started, Canvas for the instructor helpful tips. I'm going to click in each of those. And I'm going to imagine that I probably want Canvas for the instructor additional support likewise deleted. I'm just assuming that. Now, you might get delete happy here, and I would caution you against that. This is why it's pretty important to know the content of your course very, very well, and to be able to differentiate, okay, what needs to go and what can stay. If you have a question at all, don't delete it. It can be difficult to go find it again. Not impossible, but difficult. But I'm pretty sure that I don't want this Canvas for the instructor additional support. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that as well. And then when we go back to modules, we will see that content now has disappeared. Yep. This is a header, so I can delete it. This is a link. I don't want it. This is another link that I don't want. Sorry, that previous one was a file. And this is a header that I don't want. Okay. Now, if you'll notice, these are all pages and they're all -2s, right? So that means they're copies of a copy. I have to decide whether I want them or not. Now, in this case, I don't want them. So I'm going to hop over here into pages, view all pages. And remember that that's handy because they all have the same name, right? And here is this page content now that I do not want. All of these are those -2, so copies of copies. All right. Now, do you remember how much we had to scroll earlier on? Now we're not really having to scroll all that much. And all of the pages that are published are starting to like float up to the top of this. Now that's a good sign. You should feel pretty good about this. All right, so let's pop back into modules and we'll see if all of that content from our ECE folder now disappeared. And it did. Okay, so I'm going to remove that header. Now, the other thing that I can do in terms of a strategy to clean is to unpublish that content that I know I want to delete and then publish the content that I know I want to keep. So I'm going to unpublish the module, and I'm going to go down here real quickly and just unpublish all of this content. Okay, so I've got a page and an assignment. I've got a page and an assignment, a page, assignment, page, page, right? So let's go in. Let's find these assignments. They're all EXP number 1, number 2, and number 3. So we're going to go into assignments and find those assignments. Here they are, and now they're unpublished, so it's easier for me to see. Yep, that's the content that I want to delete. So I'm going to delete that one, this one, and this one. Okay. While I'm here, I see that this discussions folder is empty and it's a duplicate, so I might as well go ahead and delete this content folder while I'm just there, right? Remember, we're cleaning, but don't get clean happy. Let's go back to modules. Whoa, now we're down to pages, right? And I've got first week to do, first week wrap up, and some video sets. So just make sure that I don't have anything with that similar name, and I don't, right? This is module overview and to-do list. It's not like first week to do and first week wrap up. So I'm going to find these pages and I'm going to delete them. And now here we are back to modules, and we see now that my ECE folder is empty. That's great. And I'm going to now go ahead and take advantage of deleting it. So we're getting closer. Looks like my module view is getting pretty clean. There's a little bit more organization that I have to do here because I'm still not certain that I want to keep this sample module, and maybe I want to look into that a little bit. But the other place that we have to do some cleaning is here in assignments. And we can see that that's probably still a little messier than I want it to be. And so we'll do that in the next installment. See you then.